Have I got a treat for you today, guys? I have brought Adrian Fryer down, my dad, to give us a chipping lesson, and he's come with a secret method. The 3 L's of chipping, 3 simple steps that if you follow, you promise they're going to be good chippers, aren't you?
Well, I don't promise, but it's certainly going to help a little bit.
Right, okay, first L then, what is it? What are we talking about L's?
Well, the biggest common error I see most amateurs make, even before they arrive at the golf ball, and this is not just with these difficult chip shots and pitch shots, is that they've already determined what club they're going to use before they've even assessed the lie.
Grabbing the lob wedge straight away.
Yeah, they grab their favourite club.
Okay.
You know, but the whole thing with, and particularly with professional golfers, is that the first thing they ever do is assess the lie of the club. That's the first L, the lie of the ball, sorry. You know, how is that ball sitting?
Okay.
Because that's really going to determine a lot of other outcomes and factors if you're going to get it near to the pin.
So something like this here, if we just come in close where we see that the golf ball sort of sat down in some gnarly rough there, that is going to determine a different club than, say, maybe something that will be sat over on the fairway on a nice fluffy lie.
Exactly, you know, the lie of the ball is going to determine how the ball reacts, how much, whether it spins a little bit more. So if it's sat down here, it's pretty damp, that's going to get a bit of grass between the ball and the face, so I'm definitely not going to get as much spin off it off a nice dry tight lie.
Okay.
The other thing is, off a tight lie, you can actually brush that. You can actually use a slightly different stroke. This one's going to require a slightly steeper descending blow.
Okay.
So again, assessing the lie is really allowing me to compute what stroke I'm going to play.
Okay, and with this lie then, your first L, if you were to summarise, would there be sort of a blanket guide if it was a nicer lie versus a horrible lie like this? Is there anything that you would potentially...
I think in real simple terms for amateur golfers to try and remember is if the ball is sat down, it means you're going to have to hit down more.
Okay.
You know, if it's sat nicely, it means you can brush it or scrape it a little bit more. But the more it's sat down, the more you're going to need to get the leading edge down to the bottom of the ball and create a decent impact. So that means you're going to have to hit down. So the angle of attack is going to have to be a little bit steeper.
Okay, lovely. So real simple first L there. What's our second L that we need to look at?
Okay, so the second L is really assessing your landing area.
Okay.
How much room have you got to work with?
Yeah.
Because obviously you don't want to make this shot any more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Why try and play a fancy high tariff cut-up shot when there's really loads of room?
Yeah.
But sometimes there isn't lots of room. You've got that decision to make.
Yeah.
In this case here, you know, this is a tough shot. We've got a hollow. It raises up. There's literally only about 6 or 8 feet to the pin on a pin that runs away from us. So to get this close, we're going to have to play a high lofted shot.
And with less of a landing area means probably the actual lesser of a chance of getting it close, maybe, because there's such a small window for opportunity.
Yeah, it depends on the skill level of the player and obviously how much they practice and so on.
Yeah.
But the odds are, it's a tougher shot.
Okay.
You know, if you've got a lot more landing area to work with,
yeah,
obviously you can run that ball up, and the opportunity there is to to get it a little bit closer.
Almost to roll it like a putt.
Exactly. So it requires a little bit more skill level to do it, and you've got to make that decision. Sometimes if you've got plenty of shots on handicap wise, you may not need to go for this shot. You could just play a bit more for the fat of the green and just accept that your 2-putt, you may 1-putt. So that's based on really, as I say, your skill level and your handicap and how many shots you've got to play with. Nice.
So we've got 2 L's so far. We've got our lie, hit down on it if it's a bit nasty, brush it a little bit more if it's nice. Landing area, I think that is a really good one, guys. Definitely, I see a lot of amateurs just walking up and thinking, there's the flag, I'm going to hit towards it, and not thinking what's actually in between the golf ball and the flag. What's this third L?
Once you've assessed those 2 first L's, that gives you your final L. What club and what loft are you going to use?
Okay.
So the lie, the landing area, then determine the loft of the club.
Yeah.
The loft of the club, obviously in this case, I've not got a lot of room, so I need my most lofted club.
Yeah.
So you need your lob wedge, your 60 degree, your 58, or whichever one that you carry, or your sand wedge.
Yeah.
We need to try and apply as much loft to this stroke as we can to elevate that ball up and get it to try and come down more vertically. We've got a more steeper land angle, which is going to hopefully give us a chance of stopping it somewhere near the pin.
So on a nice lie, where I've got loads of landing area, my loft is probably going to decrease.
Exactly. Why make the shot, as we said, more difficult?
Okay.
So if you've got lots of landing area on a nice lie, so those 2 L's are pretty generous, that means then you can then use a straighter face club, less loft, you know, 7 or 8 iron, 9
Yeah.
iron, whatever, and
bump
play
it.
more of a brushing stroke. The stroke doesn't need to be as fancy, shall we say, and that is a higher percentage shot.
Okay, so we've heard all the 3 L's then. Let's see them put into action.
Now that's the tough bit.
So looking at this then, you've arrived at your golf ball before we actually see this shot then. Just what are your 3 L's here?
Right, so again, I've looked at this, I've looked at my lie. The lie, as you said before, is sat down.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's not really bad, but there's a little bit of grass behind it.
Bit of cabbage there.
Yeah, so one real key thing with this is to be able and have a practice stroke near the ball and feel how much resistance the turf is offering. That's one thing that amateurs definitely don't do. The other thing that a professional's doing on these shots, and a skillful player, is actually seeing where the low point of the arc is happening.
Yeah.
So I'm just seeing where the club's bottoming out.
Yeah.
I really need to feel that.
Okay.
I'm also feeling the weight of the swing and the length of the swing, the tempo I'm going to use and the speed I'm going to swing at. You know, it's really important you don't lose your nerve on these shots and you just keep everything smooth and brushing the turf.
That's your landing angle. Would you pick something up there on the green? Is there
definitely
something jumps out to you and you say, I'm going to try and land it in this circle, that blade of grass, that shadow?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, and the two of the greatest chippers and pitchers of the ball, someone like Tiger or Seve, you know, if you interrogated them, and nearly every player, they've obviously visualized this shot. They've got a picture in their mind of seeing the flight of the ball, seeing where it's landing, and then how it's hopefully going to react. So they've got a very, very vivid picture in their mind, and they're trying to just recreate that. Obviously, if you've spent many thousands of hours chipping these, you've already proved to yourself you can actually do these. So they're then going on to autopilot. So, you know, on that note, you know, practicing, obviously we all like to
the chipping green.
Yeah, we all like to hit it further and we all want to hit it longer and everything else. But, you know, the top players spend countless hours.
Different lies, different scenarios and hit the shot.
You've got to be able to play this shot with some degree of confidence. If not, you know, don't attempt it. If you've not proven to yourself you can't do this in practice pretty well, you might have to take the kind of percentage route and go a little bit sideways.
Lie-wise, it's bad. Landing spot, not a lot. What's that led us to loft-wise?
Well, I've got my 58-degree wedge.
So your most lofted golf club.
That's my most lofted lob wedge, you can see there. It's not got too much bounce on it. Got a little bit of relief on the sole. For me, it's actually a great design. That allows me, when I open the club face, it allows me to slide that club underneath the ball.
Right then, so we've gone through those 3 L's. Let's see the shot then.
This is the hard bit. Right. So I'm going to picture the shot, as I say, visualize what I'm going to do, feel the stroke, be quite a long, lazy stroke, and then hopefully
go. Oh, tell you what, not bad. Not
nearly,
bad,
but
just needed probably maybe a couple of yards.
I'd say half a yard short.
And it would have bounced up.
Half a yard
that's like
short.
You said earlier, and I think that's one thing for the viewers to take into account is how high tariff some shots are and what a good shot actually is. You know, we put you down here and we see the chip and run shot. You'll get that a lot closer with no real effort there. You'll just bumble it up towards the flag. So don't be too hard on yourself when you are chipping around the greens. Understand that some shots are very hard, guys. Guys, big thank you to Adrian for coming down onto the channel. Make sure you check him out on @SolidGolf for all his stuff on social, and make sure you are subscribed. Hit it down there. It's totally free to do. We want you to get better at golf, and we'll see you in your next lesson.